Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you probably don't know just yet, well, NXT has begun the qualifying matches of the NXT Championship ladder match that will take place soon enough to determine our brand new NXT champion. So I can't wait to see who will be joining. And then, of course, the main event is the number one contendership to see who will be facing off for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. So we'll see who will actually get that spot. And then, of course, first things first, we're going to be reviewing Stardom with their much recent event in Takamatsu. Now, some matches are preliminary before, of course, the Korakuen Hall and other things as well. So let's see how that plays out too. And then, of course, finally, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on a like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's get started. So, let's begin with Stardom. Alright, Stardom, as you probably know, they made their next stop, of course, right after their 2-day show in Osaka to Takamatsu. So, as you probably know, the 21st of January is their big show in Korakuen Hall. So we'll start with this one right now. This one opened up with a 6-woman tag team match. We have Ane Kanaya, Tomoka Inaba, and Yuna Mizumori taking on Rian, Natsupoi, and Azuki. So yeah, basically you have a bit of a makeshift 6-woman tag team match. Obviously, we all know some deals. I mean, Ane Kanaya is currently is still not affiliated with any factions. We know Tomoka is with God's Eye. Yuna Mizumori is from Cosmic Angels, but also, of course, a high-speed champion. Then on the other side, we got Rian from EXV, Natsupoi of the Cosmic Angels, of course, teammate with Yuna, and of course Azuki. Now, obviously, we were going to see some interesting moments, not to mention, of course, try to develop her high-speed capability, not to mention when you're facing two competitors who used to be high-speed champions. I'm talking about, of course, Azuki and Natsupoi. But, however, this match ended with, of course, with Kanaya taking the fall when she got the fairy gift by Natsupoi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have the members of Hate, consistent of Azusa Inaba, uh, Raka and Natsuko Tora taking on God's Eye, consistent of Ranegami, Lady C, and Ami Sori. Now, obviously, if, of course, in a situation like this, since we have Raka and Natsuko Tora currently are tag team champions, um, by default, of course, the whoever pins one of them, they get an opportunity of the belt. But however, that wasn't the case. But of course, we know that their usual tactic is to cheat their way through. But in the end, it was Natsuko Tora with the body splash onto Lady C, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our next match, we have Maki Ito teaming up with the ladies from Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Akira Gurugani and Suzuki. They take on, of course, EXV, Waka Tsukiyama, Hanako, and Maika. So, as you all know, Zuzu and Maika have some bit of a history due to what happened, what was it, a year or two ago or something like that, where they used to team up, but apparently they dissolved because of their issues with each other. But of course, that's always one of the cases where Zuzu likes to upstage Maika, and that's what she tried to do. But in the end, it was Zuzu that applied the tequila shot onto Hanako, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. But we did see a bit of a post-match promo. Zuzu was attempting to say mocking words up to EXV, but Hanako was getting sick and tired of this whole feud between both Micah and Zuzu getting involved. So that sets it up right there too. Now our next match, we can consider this one our preliminary match for Korakuen Hall that will take place on the 21st. We have Kyoko Furusawa teaming up with Hate Rina, and then they face against members of Hate, Fukigen Death, and Konami. Now, don't forget, Rina is challenging for the white belt against Konami. So obviously that sets it up right there. But the real question is who's going to build up the momentum from that. Now, Rina, as you know, has been very highly successful. Many people are probably going to see her become the youngest white belt champion, but that's for another time. But Rina has to go through her own teammates for this one, despite that she's teaming with someone who's not part of Hate. But in the end, it was Rina with a submission on Fukigen Death, and just like that, Fukigen Death just gave up. And of course, there was a post-match promo, Rina saying some things to Konami, obviously telling her that she's going to take that belt off of her at Korakuen Hall, but we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. Our next match, we have the Cosmic Angels consisting of Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Sayuri Anu taking on God's Eye members Hina, Saki Kashima, and Shuri. Now, obviously, those who know that Saki Kashima has a problem with Kurara, if you guys hadn't forgotten, Kurara kind of set her up against Bozilla, and I'm sure, of course, Kashima hasn't forgotten. But she decided to turn her attention towards Aya Sakura recently, and that kind of goes like, what the hell is going on right there? But of course, in the end, it was Shuri that picked up the win by applying a submission on Kurara, and just like that, she just gave up. Our main event, we have Neo Genesis, the full force of them. We have Miyo Misaki, Mei Sita, Azumi, Starlight Kid versus Star members in full force, I believe. Um, Yuri Him, Momo Kogo, Bea Priestley, and Saida. Well, Hanan is still out, but she'll be back. But the match was okay. Nothing too special about the stories, but obviously we know that Starlight Kid used to be a member of Stars, and obviously that kind of brought her back some memories, but in the end it just didn't matter. But of course, Starlight Kid is trying to build up momentum, as you probably can know, to when she faces Saya Kamitani for the red belt. But she was the one who picked up the win with the moonsault onto Yuri Him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, a post-match promo where Neo Genesis closed up the event. So it was a pretty good one. So our next event with them will be on the 21st, which is of course in Korakuen Hall. So hopefully we get the chance to see it. But as of right now, let's move on to our last review, which is of course NXT. All right. final review NXT. Now, as you all know, recently there's been two things that have been happening yet at late with NXT. The first one, as you know, Obafemi, as you know, has vacant the title, and of course, this led to a bit of a vacuum to see who will be joining in. And then, of course, the other side of that is Tony D'Angelo, who's been appearing out of nowhere. Still unclear what his tensions known. I mean, nobody knows. So, of course, it opened up with Ava instructing, of course, her security guards to keep an eye out on Tony D'Angelo because they don't want nothing to be messed up in this important time where they're trying to crown a brand new NXT champion. So that's one of the things that Ava was concerned. Now, our opening match, of course, is for the NXT North American title. Ethan Page defends it against the French luchador Elio Lafreux. Pretty good match, I'm not going to lie, but I have to say Elio Lafreux is an amazing wrestler. I've seen him before he ever went to WWE when he had a different name. But unfortunately, things didn't go according to plan because Ethan Page once again got away with it when he rolled him up and used the tights as leverage, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Ricky Saints was on his way to make the commentary desk and probably wants to see the qualifying matches because unfortunately he's already automatically in the sixth way. But we'll see more about that. Now, Cam Hendrick was doing an interview while it was interrupted by Keanu Carver. Apparently, there's been some problems between him and Booker T during the LFG days, and apparently he was not being involved, of course, in the NXT Championship qualifying ladder match. So that whole thing, even Booker T, who was his mentor, kind of just shut down, like doesn't want to talk about it, despite the fact that he helped was one of his teachers. Now, let's get to the first qualifying match of the NXT Championship ladder match. We have Charlotte Hill versus Jack Briggs. Now, obviously, many people would have assumed just by watching this, it would have been Josh Briggs because, A, he has the experience. He knows exactly what he's doing. But Charlotte Hill, I have to say, he actually toughened it up so much. He took every blow that, of course, Josh Briggs can give him. But in the end, he wiped him out with the neck breaker. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, out of nowhere, of course, Tony D'Angelo attacked them. So now it seems his tensions are for the NXT Championship. So that kind of sets it up right there. So, of course, Ava's not happy with it. Now, Zarya and Soruk are still having a bit of a hard time getting on the same page. If you guys saw what happened in TNA during Genesis, apparently Soruka was nowhere to be found. There was a lot of problems with that. But of course, Soruka tried to explain that there was a situation involving Zaya Brookside and, of course, the Elegant Brands. So that kind of sets it up. But the real question is, can they be on the same page when we head to their main event? So we'll see about that. Now, the Vanity Project consisted of Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes taking on Chase U. Of course, as you all know, Vanity Project are the latest signees in NXT, despite the fact that Jackson Drake is the current Evolve champion. But of course, in this match, it was of course a great teamwork with Vanity Project with Baylor and Smokes. Smokes pinned no, was it Smokes? Yeah, Smokes pinned Kale Dixon, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. Now, Ava was talking to Mr. Stone about certain things until they were intrude by Lola Vice, who demanded a match against, of course, Izzy Dame for the women's North American title. So stay held. But however, Ava decided that there's going to be a three-way for that belt. So it's going to be Izzy, Thea, and Lola. So basically, they make their claims on that too. Now, Jada Parker made her presence known. As you know, it's been a while since we've seen her. It seems now she is dealing with Brooks Monroe. Apparently, she does not like how Brooks Monroe has been acting like all the spotlight is going to her. But of course, Brooks Monroe does not like the fact that people are interrupting her moment of time, and that's exactly what she's been trying to deal with. But it is what it is. There's nothing anybody can do about it. But of course, Blake Monroe had some things to say, saying you don't deserve the spotlight. But sooner or later, we will see those two clash one way or another. Now, Ava was talking to Miles Bourne, of course. Well, Miles has been asking to be part of the qualifying matches, which she did, until Elian LaFleur told her that it was okay that he may not have won, but at least he got the opportunity to be involved. And of course, Ricky Saints got involved. Miles Bourne tried to talk to him, and then of course, Ethan Page tried to, of course, saying that he needs to listen to people like them. But we'll see about that. Now we get to another qualifying match: Sean Legacy versus Eli Knight. I have to say it was a pretty good match. Not to mention, Sean Legacy has been well popular down in Evolve, and people are getting behind them. And of course, it was the shambles by Sean Legacy that picked up the win. And of course, it was over. However, once again, Tony D'Angelo made another appearance and attacked both men. However, this time, well, Ava had enough of him of getting involved, so she goes, "You forced me into this," and of course what she's referring to. She was the one who called the cops on him, so basically he got arrested and taken away. Now OTM, of course, as you know, they now got the attention of Darkseid. If you saw what happened last week in the no disqualification match, this time they're calling their shots. Now they want the NXT Tag Team titles. So they are aiming for that. And of course, Darkseid are well aware of that, so we'll see about that. Even Dion Lennox, as you know, he still has issues for what happened when it came to Tony D'Angelo, so we'll see about that. Now, Vanity Project were just hanging out in the back until they were approached by Mrs. Stone, telling Jackson Drake the good news that he is involved in the qualifying match for the NXT title ladder match. However, his opponent is none other than say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. And of course, Ricky Smokes is like, "Where's the hot chick?" And then he tells him, "You'll get used to it." And of course, Brad Baylor and Jackson Drake are like, like acting like, "Where the hell did you come from?" And of course, Ricky Smoke was looking for the girl that he was flirting with, and she was nowhere to be found. He's like, "What if I kissed Joe Hendry if it was her behind her?" We don't know that. So I thought it was really funny. I thought that was a great moment. I mean, it shows Vanity Project, you're in now in a world where will probably get used to it or not. Now, we head to our number one contendership for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles. We have one Fatal Influence consistent of Fallon Henley and Laney Reed. Then, of course, we have Sol Ruka and Zarya, and of course we have Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray. Obviously, these teams are great, but of course we know that the Fatal Influence are trying to prove their dominance within NXT for quite some time, and that's exactly what they've been doing. However, we did see, of course, Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair were wiped out, but later we did see Daisy Jane got wiped out. But in the end, it was, of course, Zarya that picked up the win onto, I think it was Fallon Henley. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, they'll be the new number one contenders to take on the Inspiration. So we'll see where that leads. So as of right now, we are done with the reviews. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news update. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. We have GCW stuff. Now, as you know, they'll be making their way to Philly by the end of this month on the 31st. They announced Vandal 48, consistent of both Koger brothers, Otis and Atticus. They will be teaming up to take on Bear Dozer, consistent of Bear Bronson and Matt Tremont. Then we have the coldest Winter 4 in LA on the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. They announced the GCW World title will be defended. Atticus Cogar will defend it against Ali Catch, so that's going to be a brutal match. And then finally, as you know, we got the Las Vegas show, MDK Fight Club, on the 17th of April. They just announced Japanese legend Masato Tanaka will be making his presence known there. Now, of course, we have the Jersey Championship Wrestling Super Power Slam on the 1st of February, they just announced a four-way women's match. Nixie XS versus Gabby Forze versus Janai Kai versus Jordan Blair. New Japan has announced for their U.S. show, New Beginning USA, on the 27th of February. The New Japan Strong Openweight Championship will be on the line. Current champion Tomohiro Ishii will defend it against Bolton Oatleg. And then, of course, as you know, Canadian promotion Maple Leaf Pro will be doing a double show in the same week. Uh, the first one is called Global Wars. They will feature, of course, Ring of Honor, I believe. It's going to happen on the 27th of April, and then there's the Uprising on the 26th. However, we have wrestlers that have been now announced will be participating in both shows. First, we have the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. We have Mascara Dorada, awesome. And then, of course, all the way from Pro Wrestling Noah, Kaito Kiyomiya, which is awesome. Now on to some developments here. Fightful Select reports Bully Ray was doing backstage producing for TNA at the AMC debut. He also gave a pep talk, so it would make sense why he was there, obviously. Maple Leaf Pro has announced that they will be partnering up for broadcasting with Fight Nation, and they will be broadcast through 196 countries. This is great news. We know that they've been establishing themselves since Scott D'Amore, relaunched it after he was dismissed from TNA. So it's great to hear that something good is happening. Interesting things has been announced. As you know, MARIGOLD has been establishing championships since they first started. Now a new one. I don't know what Rossi Ogawa is thinking. He actually revealed that there's going to be a trios championship, and this one is called the 3D Trios title. Now some of you might question, why do you call it 3D? Actually, the 3D is an acronym for Dream, Diamond, and Destiny. So that's what it is. But names have been mentioned to participate in this event. Let me pull it up for all of you so I can name them. Yes, we have Nagisa Nozaki, Matsui, and Rhea Seto. Then we have Miku Anu, Kyoki, and Megaton. Mayu Iwatani, Victoria Yuzuki, and Komomono. Utami Ashida, I'm going to say Chigagoto and Chanyota. Then we have Mai Sakurai, Natsumi Shizuki, and Arina Yamanaka. Seri Yamanoka, Yuki Yamasaki, and Shoko. Now Ishikawa, Hummingbird, and Nagisa Tachibana. And then we have a foreign team. And the belts are covered in yellow, so that's one thing we've been aware of that. What else do we have? Relationship alert. It's now been revealed that Elena Black, formerly known as Cora Jade, is now in a relationship with Casey Navarro. We haven't seen him for quite some time since he got injured, but yes, she is now in a new relationship. Now, very shocking news. Many of you remember Leon Ruff, who was part of NXT, and his wife, who is WWF, Daphne LaShawn. They were involved in a car accident, but according to the information, Leon is okay, but his wife, Daphne, is not. She was hurt, and of course, everything is okay for them, but we will find out more information on that, so hopefully everything turns out fine. Shingo Takagi, it was announced that he'll be absent for a while due to an injury on his left, abdominal injury, so he'll be back, of course, until the 11th of February. So in Osaka, from my understanding. So it's great news that he's doing. I'm sure his wife is gonna take good care of him, from my understanding. Now, last development here. Many of you may have heard what's going on. We know that we were told that the Rascals, the Full Force, Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, Desmond Xavier, and Myron Reed were hired. However, it was later revealed that Trey Miguel was released. Now, some of you may question what's going on. Now, according to some information, they said this was not a decision done by Tony Khan. According to the information, it was above him. And if you guys are probably wondering who it is, it's the network itself that actually, that made that call. Now, some of you may question why. According to what it was later revealed, that that Trey Miguel was involved in a controversy that dates back almost 6 years ago in 2020. Now, we have seen this type of scenario before. If you guys remember, Tony Khan has been trying to get Mark Jay Briscoe involved, but of course the network were not having it because of some things that he said. But of course, Jay Briscoe has apologized since then. And the same thing with Trey Miguel. So it's the same thing. I mean, it's no one's fault, and I understand that the network don't want to have a bad PR. But I'm sure Tony Khan is going to find a way to hopefully get the Rascals involved, which is something we definitely want to see, you know. But we'll see what else. If there's any new information, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, we're done. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have AEW Dynamite. A lot of things is going to happen on this one, you probably can tell. And then, of course, hopefully we do Evolve, which my bad, I forgot about last week, which that was my bad on my part because I had other things that kind of distracted me and I forgot about it. But if I do have enough opportunity, I'll probably do the latest Stardom show that happened Korakuen Hall. And I also want to apologize to everyone because I know I was supposed to do New Japan for the road to the new beginning. I'm really sorry about that. So that was my fault. But we'll see how things go from there. But as of right now, I'll see you guys the next time. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye and have a nice day. Bang.